Head of Service, Honorable Commissioners, Special Advisors, Permanent Secretaries, Heads of Departments and Agencies. I'm sure you all agree with me that the last 2 days, yesterday and today, have been one in which we have taken time to introspect and to see how far we have gone. And as the topic for this leadership retreat has emphasized, how do we expand what we're doing and how do we support each other? I believe the key themes that have been reiterated here tonight or in the last 2 days are born out of the new direction of government. As I told you in my opening remarks, our goal as a government is to enable things to happen for our citizens. The role of government in Edo State is that of an enabler. We are not going to play the traditional role that government was used to play, in which government wanted to be at the commanding heights of everything. Because government does not have the kind of resources it used to have in the 70s, 80s, and 90s to perform that role. For us in Edo, our key asset is our people. And government's role must be, how do we support our people to be the best they want to be and the best they can be? And we can only do that if we restructure government to be a service provider, not to be the big man or the big people who the whole of society and community must continue to look up to for sustenance. So in thinking about how to provide services to our people, we need to organize ourselves in a certain way as government. We need to organize government as a service provider, as an efficient service provider. And if you are going to be an efficient service provider, also directing the way our people should go, it means therefore that you have to, given the limitations of the resources you have, organize government to be able to deliver on its mandate efficiently. That is why we have decided to first look at the structure of government. How many ministries should we ideally have? How many agencies? How many commissions? And from what we have seen today, the last few days and even before now, you can see that the government is like an octopus. One regime will come, commence a project, set up an MDA or an agency. After a while, the purpose of that agency has lapsed, but it continues to exist. Somebody will come again, set up another, and then these agencies sometimes don't talk to each other and just create wastes. So one of the things we must do as we are looking at rethinking government and expanding frontiers, and as you can see from your scorecards, the scorecards you have presented today, is to say, first, how do we prioritize? How do we collaborate with other parts of government? We can't start a thing and finish it ourselves because we're not working for ourselves, we're working for our people. The other issue that has come up is because we are going to be providing services and we are going to be relying on our people, we'll now need to collaborate more with the people and the private sector. There's only so much money we have, and our monies have to be prioritized on those things that the private sector cannot do. You don't expect a businessman to build his road. So what are those things that we can collaborate on? And so you can see from the presentations yesterday, our priority areas, as long as we think through our policy, for instance, is to encourage and support tourism so that we can build an economy around tourism in Edo State. And to do that, we need partners. So we've just sat down to do the thinking, the planning, and whether it's a hotel project, whether it's, building a sound stage, whether it's building a film village, we will have to create and collaborate with the private sector to be able to create all of these. But the private sector needs to trust us. They need to trust government. They need to believe that when they go into agreements with government, those agreements will be honored. They need to know that they have the monies, what they are expected to contribute, will not be squandered. They need to know that the partner they are dealing with is not blatantly corrupt. So that is one of the reasons. So what we must now also organize government such that the people trust us in terms of service delivery. Some issues have been raised. First, how do we manage the physical space? We are currently working on a groundbreaking project of having an urban and regional plan for the state. These plans are supposed to help us manage the physical space. But as we know, the physical space today in Edo is in disarray, particularly land administration. And there is no way, every development effort has to occur on land, right? So whether it's housing, whether it's building industries, whether it's, building social services, whatever, we need to take control of land. We need to get people to understand that government's responsibility is to make sure that we have an ordered process, an orderly process for registering the ownership of land, making sure that whatever is built or going proposed to be built is done in a planned manner. Our responsibility as government, not just only regulate, but to control the environment is very, very key and significant. One of the things we didn't talk about today, and we're going to have a special session on, is how to clean up our cities. On a parting note, I want to leave this with you, that we've not gone through each and every presentation, but I have every presentation, and I'm going to go through each one with each one of you in the next 1 week. Because there are going to be some shifts and rearrangements. Because you recall when we started this process about 9 months ago, we had an as-is structure for all the agencies, right? And we had the to-be structure. You've now had 9 months to look at your to-be structure, what is it, and test it, and now see what the reality is. So it's time to make that adjustment. And as we're making that adjustment, I also want you to be thinking behind your mind that we need to put together a budget for next year. We also need to put together a medium-term expenditure plan. And so whatever learnings we now have from these, to-be arrangements, what as is today now, needs to be, taken into cognizance as we now think through what will happen next year. I told you in the beginning that the reason why we are doing what we're doing is because our people now expect government to deliver. And that we cannot. Our experience as a government, we won our elections because people believed that we were delivering services to them. And any government that does not deliver services to the people will have a crisis in the coming election. So our major campaign for the February elections will be the work we have done to date, particularly this second term. We're very glad and happy and proud of what we've done. We believe that a lot of it still needs to be documented. From education to healthcare to judiciary to, fiscal planning to ICTA, we've made significant progress, even if we haven't been talking about them ourselves. So the next few months will be how to communicate what we're doing to our people and to just drown the very weak opposition, voices. Because they've been here and they created most of the problems we have, and for them, the opposition is for us to go back to what it used to be, which will never happen. So on that note, I want to thank you and to say the next few weeks, we're going to continue, fine-tuning at the end of the day, each and every one of us must be able to justify the confidence that's been imposed in us by the people. And from the look of things to date, I believe everybody is trying their best.